Hello, today I want to show you how to make this really cute mushroom halter top, really cute for Ren fairs or festivals or just summer in general. This one I have made using acrylic yarn, double knit yarn, but today I'm going to be using cotton yarn, so I'm using Sheep G's Katona. So let's see how it turns out in the cotton. So to start with, we're going to make a magic ring. For this one, I'm using a 6mm hook, but for the one I made in acrylic, I used a 5mm hook. I'm still experimenting with this design, but I wanted to show you how I made it. Okay, so we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do 4 double crochets into our magic ring. Double crochet is US terms. I use US terms for this one. So that is the chain stitch, counts the first stitch, and then 3 double crochets. So that counts as 4 stitches. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to put 4 double crochets into the magic ring. Three, 4. And that's our first row. So I've tightened the magic ring just a little bit, not so it's completely tight, that will do. Now we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and working into the first space between the last stitch and the next stitch along, we're going to put 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. So if we count our chain, that's 4 stitches total. Working into our middle chain space, we're going to put 3 doubles. So this is going to be our corner or our point of our triangle. 2, 3. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to put 3 more doubles into that space. So there's 6 stitches total with a chain in between. Like so. Now working into the very last space, we're going to put 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to chain 2, turn our work, working into the very first space, put 3 more doubles. In the next space along, we're going to just put 3 into there. 2, 3. And then we've made it to our point, so we're going to put 3 double crochets. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets into that same space again. So 6 double crochets in total. In the side space, we're just going to put 3. And then in the last space, the space between the last stitch and the second from last stitch, we're going to put 4 double crochets. Now we put 4 in the last one, and 4 including the chain in the first one, and that's what helps keep it very straight along the bottom of the triangle. And then you just do your usual granny stitch with the 3 in the others. So we're going to continue this now. So for this one I have done 16 rows of the granny triangle. So if you want to continue this along for 16 rows, and I will come back to you and we shall see the next step. I will say this is a small, so I will go away and try and figure out the other sizes, and once I've been able to do that I will link below the different measurements, but for now we're just doing the small size, so it's 16 rows. Okay, so I have 16 rows complete, and this is all I have left of the 50-gram ball of Sheeple's Katona. So we will be needing 2 skeins of that in the green, but for now I'm just going to cut my end. And now we're going to start with the brown row. So we're going to turn this upside down. We're going to do this mushroom row this way up. So we're going to start with the brown. Okay, so taking our brown, we're going to be working into this first stitch here. We're going to do 2 single crochets into that stitch space there. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch space along. You can sort of see where they are. They're side stitches, but they're quite clear where they are. I'm going to do 2 in each all the way along until we get to the middle. I'll just go along to the middle and then I shall show you what we do there. So once you get to the middle, working into your magic ring, we're going to put 3 single crochets. I'm just going to tighten the magic ring up again. And then continuing along, 2 single crochets in each of the stitches along. So in total, when you've made it to the other end, you should have 65 stitches. So I should just continue along, and I shall meet you when I get to the other end. So I've made it to the end of my row. I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and working in every stitch along, I'm going to be doing a half double crochet all the way along. So that will be 65 stitches total all the way along, half double crochet. I'll just do a few and show you how that looks. So continue along until you get to the end. So I've made it to the end of my row. I'm going to snip my end, just pull that through. Now we're going to start with the next colour, which is either a red or I have this lovely orange. So I've turned my work, so the tail ends are now this side, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3 stitches in, and we're working in just the top 2 loops. So we're just going to attach it there. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to work 4 double crochets into the same space. 2, 3, 4. So if we count our chain stitch, that is 5 stitches total. So now we're going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and working into the 5th stitch, we're going to put 5 double crochets. 4, 5. Skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, working into the 5th, just the back 2 loops, 5 double crochets. So we're going to continue this all the way along until we've filled our row. Getting a little bit tangled here, I need to organise my yarn. 5, so that is 3 mushroom caps so far. So continue along, skip 4 in the 5th stitch, put 5 double crochets. So I finished that row. I have 13 mushroom caps along and 3 stitches left on the end there. So I'm going to just cut that end, pull that through, and next we are working with our mushroom stems. So I'm going to go with a white. So I've weaved in my ends just because I feel like they were getting in the way. Now we're going to start on making our mushroom stems. So on the 3rd stitch along, or the middle stitch of your mushroom cap, we're going to chain 2 and then add 2 double crochets into there. So that will be, if we count the chain, that'll be 3 stitches total. Then we're going to chain 3, and then working into the middle stitch of your mushroom cap, we're going to put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3 in the middle stitch, 3 doubles. So continue along with this pattern, 3 doubles into the middle stitch of your mushroom cap and chain 3 in between each, and I'll meet you back at the other end. So I've made it to the end of that row and I've just chained 1 on the end there. I'm going to snip and pull that through. So now we're going to go, I'll turn it around and show you how it's looking. So cute little mushrooms, aren't they adorable? So now we're going to go back to the green colour. So now we're going to attach our green to the top of the brown row with a single crochet. Single crochet into the next brown row. Now we're going to chain 2 and do a slip stitch into the side of your mushroom. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the side of your stem. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the same space that you slip stitched into, and that will help turn the corner. Single crochet into the next stitch along, single crochet into the chain space, and now we're going to do a double crochet, but we're going behind the space between the mushroom caps. Taking that stem up. Try that again. If I go down that way, actually, go down. Yes. Like so. Single crochet between on the chain space, and then 3 singles at the bottom of the stem. 1, 2, 3. It's starting to look a bit like this. So single crochet into the chain space, double crochet into the space between the mushroom caps, single crochet into the chain space, and then 3 singles on the base of the mushroom. 1, 2, 3. I'll just do that one more time for you. So it's a single, the double goes behind the mushroom caps, a single, and 3 singles into the stem. So continue along, I'll meet you at the end. This is how it's looking so far. So I've made it to the end of that row. I'm going to chain 1 and then single crochet back into that same space. Chain 3, 2, 3, slip stitch into the top of the mushroom cap, chain 2, 1, 2, oops, 2, and then 2 single crochets into the brown row, like so. And this is how it's looking at the moment. Now we are going to go back up our point to start making the neckline. If I turn it around to show you the right way around. So we're going back up here and we're going to start creating a neckline. So to do that, we're going to double crochet into every stitch. All the way to the top, but we're not going to be working into the point. So go all the way to the top and stop when you get to here, and I'll meet you there. So I've made it to my very top stitch. I'm not going to be working into the point. We're just going to stay here. We're going to chain 2, turn our work, and we're going to start a row of double crochet all the way back down, all the way back down to here. I shall meet you back there. So I've made it to the last one. We are now going to double crochet into the side stitches of the mushroom rows. So where we have that chain, we're going to put 3 double crochets, or hang on, 3 or 2, let me see, 2 double crochets into there and 3 double crochets into the next one. 2, 3. We're going to pop double crochet into this corner space we created with that chain. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to put another one in there, turning the corner. Now going back this way, we're going to just do double crochets all the way along. And I will come back to you when I make it to the end here. So I've made it to the next corner. Remember to chain 1 and then put a stitch into the same stitch space, creating a corner. And then we're going to put one there. Going to work our way up, so it's 3 in the chain space here. 1, 2, 3, 2 into the next chain space, 1, 2, and now as we did on the other side, we're going to just work a double crochet into every stitch all the way up until we get to the center, not working into our point, just staying there, and then we're going to turn and come back down again. So we're going to go all the way up, chain 2, turn and come back down again, and I will meet you when we are back here. So I've made it down to the other corner. I'm going to pop 2 into the corner with a chain in between, but for the second one I'm going to do a half double crochet, and I'm going to do a half double crochet all the way along the bottom. Now you'll see it's starting to pucker because we have actually added stitches here, but that's fine because once you wear it and you pull your tie, that will sit snugly around your waist, so don't worry too much if it's getting a little bit puckery there. And the top of the top is looking like this. It's starting to become a V at the top here. So we're going to half double crochet all the way along, do your corner with the 2 stitches with the chain in between, and then double crochet all the way up and all the way back down. I shall meet you back here. So I made it back to the corner. I'm going to do a double crochet into that corner space, chain 1, and then I'm going to do another double into there, or half a double. Yeah, I'll do half a double into there. And now all the way along I'm going to single crochet along the bottom edge, and this will be the last row we do along the bottom. So single crochet all the way along there, let me just see where we're at. So we have 4 rows of double crochets here, creating that V. We're going to single crochet all the way along the bottom here. We're going to do another 2 rows of double crochet up and down this side, making that match this side, and we're going to stop when we get to the brown row here. So I won't film myself doing that because that'll be a bit boring. So we're going to single crochet all the way along, double crochet all the way up, chain 2, double crochet all the way back down to this line, and I will meet you there. So I have made it down to just above that brown line there. I'm a few stitches off. I'm going to do, in the next 2 stitches, I'm going to do a half double crochet and then a single crochet just to bring it down to that brown line there, and to ease it into this so it doesn't just stop on a double crochet. Now we have actually completed our top. This is how it's looking. You've got the V at the top there and the mushrooms, they're so sweet. So now we need to create some ties. So for this I think we're going to need to chain, I'm not sure how many we need to chain. What I'm going to do from here, we're going to chain. I'm going to do it and count how many I do as I go, and I'll let you know in a moment. Hold on. I have chained 70. I think that will be long enough. So now I've done that, I'm going to just single crochet all the way back, or you could slip stitch if you wish, all the way back to the end. And once I've made it back to here, I'm just going to slip stitch into there and cut and weave in my end. I started with 2 single crochets on here, and you can see that's bigger, and then I went to slip stitch. I recommend the slip stitch. Do a slip stitch all the way back. I'll meet you at the end. So now we have the tie coming from this side. We need to do the same on the other side. So going along from that point, we're going to chain 70, slip stitch all the way back and slip stitch that's closed there, so it's attached like this one, and then we'll work on the ties for the top. So I'll just go ahead and do that one now. So I now have 2 ties either side. These are going to lace up at the back, so once we've got this on my mannequin, I will lace them up so they cross over like that, and then cross over like that. And that's why I wanted to do them nice and long, so there's room for them to do a little corset style lace up at the back. Now we need to do our top ones. So for this one, I'm going to chain probably about 50, I'll let you know, and then slip stitch back down. And once I make it back down, I'm going to single crochet around to the next one, chain, slip stitch back, and then finish there. So I'm going to do that now. I will let you know how many I chain, and then I'll single crochet there, same amount, and back again. So I decided on 45 chains for the neck. So I've made it back to there. Now I'm going to do 2 single crochets into each stitch, because we're going into the sides of the stitches. So I'm just going to put 2 into each, and then when I get to the middle, I'm just going to put 1 into the middle there, and then 2 in each. And then chain 45 and slip stitch all the way back down to the chain, slip stitch back into there, and then after we've weaved in our ends, we are finally complete. So she's finally complete. She has her ties and her lace up ties, the mushrooms are there. Let's go pop her on the mannequin and see how she looks. So here she is in all her glory. Lace up at the back, backless, mushroom detail, really beautiful. So if you want to make her bigger, I would just add more rows to this V. And as you can see, she is a little bit sheer, so I'm going to have a go at lining it, and if that works out well, I will film how to do that too. So there should be a video coming soon for that. But over a bikini, I think that would be absolutely adorable. Really, really cute.